Welcome to Heat C of the Series 1 Dutch battles. We have vertical spinners, horizontal spinners, pushers, hammers, and the lot again today, hoping to provide you with more entertainment, more carnage, and a bit of Pokemon as well.
It's Heat C, and battles we have 3. Later we're going to see Pika 2 against Hammerhead. And follow that one up with Xbot against Mesuggah. For now, it's Botwork against Maximum Torque. And this is Botwork. We saw just how capable those horizontal spinning discs can be last week with Twisted Metal. Now they've got a 13 kilogram spinning disc going at 100 miles an hour. And Maximum Torque. An odd flex, I have to say. I'm sure you'll be very grippy on the floor, but it's the hammer in the centre of the robot that should be the main attraction.
And there is Maximum Torque with Hector, Charles, and Jan Harmon Vesselink. And Botwork, the Undutchables for this one. There's the team. Housebots, Sergeant Bash hoping for maximum fire. And Matilda hoping for maximum carnage and all the other stuff. 3, 2, 1. And activate is the crowd's cry, and that's what we get. And Botwork was starting rear end facing Maximum Torque, but it was a good little swing around with its weapon that followed.
Yeah, luring into a false sense of security, but maybe it really was just a false sense of security for Botwork. Maximum Torque getting straight underneath there and taking Botwork into the wall. Again, it's meant to be the hammer that's Maximum Torque's weapon, but clearly they can function just fine as a high-speed wedge.
Yeah, it's, taking damage there, though. A little bit of armor being peeled upwards and away. Shouldn't affect the functionality of the machine, though, as it tries to attack Botwork again, but is very close in with that spinner.
Those exposed tyres are getting so close to the horizontal disc of Botwork. That is what the Undutchables are aiming for. They're coming so close, but the robot does seem a little bit ponderous. We know it's got the firepower. Does it have the accuracy? They're getting so close, but Maximum Torque keeps getting away with it.
Such a very awkward and close quarters action, very much happening in there, but now scooped up is Botwork. Very awkward angling onto that angle grinder. And again, the spinner machine is really struggling for consistent movement and momentum out there right now. But functional it still is!
Oh.
And now Maximum Torque might not be for much longer, because that was a crippling blow from Matilda on the turn.
Oh, between a rock and a hard place, except in this case it's between a horizontally spinning disc and a vertically spinning disc. That's definitely enough to take out Maximum Torque, but that was an excellent effort from the speedy machine. They are counted out. We will see them in the loser's melee. Lots of promise, but Botwork is doing what works.
Indeed, and Maximum Torque has no torque, obviously, left in the tank. The two housebots have to help it move. Now, onto the floor flipper. The crowd will count, the robot will fly. Oh, and the hammer finally comes out too. Not that it was operated by the machine itself, though, just hanging out as it was surged through the sky.
They say that hammer weighs 20 kilograms. Well, we'll see how fast it falls as it drapes over the pit then. Is it meant to be invertible? We can't quite tell, but for now, you'll have to get it fixed, bring it back for the loser's melee. Matilda did indeed kill you. Well, Botwork proves that the bot did work. Maximum Torque is maximum dead. Next up, the Hammerhead Fish will be taking on Pika 2 for the next place in the semi-finals. Oh, out of the depths of the ocean we have the Hammerhead Shark. And you do not want to be on the receiving end of those spinning hammerheads. Another horizontal spinner for us here today, but with a rear flipping weapon as well. Very well equipped. And Pika 2, I have to be careful what I can and can't say. It's apparently inspired by some fictional mouse. But nevertheless, the electric power of this machine is expectedly powerful, representing Belgium.
And here is Hammerhead ready for action. with the Delft crew as the team. And Pika 2, Team VHS Robots. For the house bots, Circulot will be hoping to take the death of Team VHS. And Matilda will give the Delft crew something to mull through, maybe.
3, 2, 1,
And here we go, with Hammerhead getting that weapon up to speed immediately, not the meatiest first contact on Pika 2, who will be hoping to poke him on to the flame pit and the flipper and into the pit, maybe.
Yeah, but you don't want to catch all of those stray hits. Oh, just scraping at the wedge there. This is going to be a similar example to our previous fight. We have a deadly horizontal spinning weapon, and it will be aiming for those exposed wheels. Pika 2 itself is equipped with that vertical flywheel, but it's all the way at the back there. They really need to get in far underneath to make use of it. They're taking some stray hits here, though.
Yeah, it's a really curious one. Hammerhead is having real problems with that right-hand tyre, and Pika 2 seems to be having issues of its own here after that hit that has locked and welded the wheel against its own bodywork, actually.
Yes, Pika rules, they say, but the one that's ruling the roost at the moment is Hammerhead. We need to see some movement out of the mouse. It may be an early trip to the losers melee already for the Belgians, but Hammerhead itself looks to have gotten stuck on the wedge of Pika 2. It's all good having a nice low to the floor wedge, but you need to still be moving for it to truly count, lads.
Well, wasn't the most visually brutal match ever, but an interesting way of things ending nevertheless. And now, oh, Matilda, well, she has been on form so far in the Dutch battle, and she is raising the ceiling further there. Wow, that was more than a poke.
Please flip me back, I don't like it. Well, they don't like missing that entire wheel either. We will flip you back, you did ask for it, so who are we but generous people to provide?
Oh,
there you
the
go,
flipper
enjoy that
from
then.
Down Thunder there. Oh my goodness.
But now that will be Hammerhead moving on. I hope they can get Pika 2 fixed up for the losers melee. Quite the brutal exit. Pika 2 thoroughly thunder-shocked. Hammerhead moves on. Xbot and Mesuggah will be up next. So here is Xbot. It's been a fairly last-minute affair for the team. They've only just upped the voltage to 36 volts to try and make the robot a little faster. It got stuck in forward drive in the tech check. Hope for a better occasion here. Now Mesuggah, look at all the teeth on that vertical spinning blade. This could be a menacing machine. But what do you put in your tea? Well, I need me sugar. And me milk.
Roboteers, stand by.
And there is Xbot with Jeroen with the hat, Yap and Andreas, and the spinner, the vertical spinner of Mesuggah. And there is Team Mesuggah. Housebots, Dead Metal with the claws and the sword. And Sir Killalot, ready for his next foray.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Well, the two competing machines starting in very close with each other there. Xbot was basically in Mesuggah's face. And they haven't really got going since that moment, to be honest. A sluggish start from both here.
Yes, it is meant to be a lifting scoop on the front of Xbot. They've lifted themselves off the ground there, but acting more as a tray bake type weapon. Mesuggah, meanwhile, what's that doing there in the middle of the spinning disc? They're not spinning it whatsoever. I think they've left the locking pin inside the spinning disc.
That they have. Look at that. That was a clearer shot as any. That is incredible. And the fact that they have, or the machine has suddenly realised that the locking pin's still there, has killed the machine entirely, has it? Yep, it's died from shock. And Xbot, even though it was a Microsoft display from it was even softer from Mesuggah. No sugar hit here. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, something of a black coffee when you're about 15 minutes late for work. I bigged these guys up, but they did absolutely nothing out there. Xbot will at least trundle on and move on to the winners semi-finals. Mesuggah, I'm really expecting better things in the losers melee. At least they can say that they were largely untouched in this battle. We'll fling them through the air. Oh, right into Dead Metal's cutting saw. There's a bit of extra damage for your troubles.
A slice is nice. Would have loved to have seen even one slice from Mesuggah itself. There are the sparks again from Dead Metal. But goodness me, what an underwhelming display it was all round.
Oh, careful. If you do too much damage to those tyres, they may not have any left to work with. There we go, put it down the pit. I'd love to know what was wrong with it, because it did seem to die to a bit of a tap. And Dead Metal wants to go down there with it. Steady on, House Robots, we need you, you're important. Nevertheless, a win for Xbox. So here we have the losers melee to get one more of these robots through to the Heat semi-finals. We have Pika 2, we have Maximum Torque, and we have Mesuggah. We have Mesuggah? Guys, what even happened to it? They've withdrawn from the losers melee.
Well, once again, we are left with 2 in the losers melee. Incredible that Mesuggah dropped out. There's Pika 2. And Maximum Torque with scuffs all over will be hoping to progress also. House spots for this fight, Matilda. Please don't get near her with the form shoes on. She's with Shunt. Let's see what these two can do this time.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Well, here we go. Pika 2 will be hoping to poke him up. Yeah, I've already done that already, so never mind. But Maximum Torque reversing away from the wedge as the spinning weapon of Pika 2 gets up to speed.
Indeed, and to give both of these robots credit, they did very well in both of their defeats in the first round. Pika 2 maybe fell a little bit easily, but they had the right tactics. Maximum Torque was going at it really well. Mesuggah, maybe it would have been a bit of a sore thumb. We did think they had potential, but we have a nice head-to-head between two of the greatest robots we've seen in the losers melee. It's an advancement from the likes of the Lethal Swan.
Yeah, Pika 2's left tyre there seeming rather under the weather a bit. It was very flat. It's still got Maximum Torque scooped up here, and there is the hammer. Well, not so much a hammer blow, more of a hammer blow of a kiss maybe. It was pretty pathetic, to be honest. And another good drive in behind.
It was a gentle fanning motion from the hammer, but Pika 2 does appear to be equipped with a fan, and they're blowing air at Maximum Torque, but that's getting it into the direction of Shunt. Just narrowly escaping now, but we're lacking a lot of that speed that Maximum Torque had in the first round. I think they may have lost the use of one of their wheels at this point. Now we see the Pika 2 spinner coming into play.
Coming into play and actually cutting in there too, yes, as we see the action from the Refbot's perspective. Maximum Torque still desperately trying to get some consistent movement back, but it really is struggling on one side. As previously stated, the pit release tyre is pressed by, again, the wobbling Pika 2, and Maximum Torque is edging towards its own peril!
Well, all talk, no trousers, making it easy for Pika 2 to push them in there. Well, that is a good driving display from the young Tim Van Hek at the controls. Excellent driving display from Tim Van Hek there. We have a Belgian machine moving on. That's Pika 2 with the pitting. Down goes Maximum Torque. Pika moving on. And we have our Heat semi-finals. The knockout artists Hammerhead and Botwork collide. And then later, Xbot against Pika 2.
And Heat C's semis are ready. There is Botwork and the team. And Hammerhead. 2 spinners here, 2 different spinners. This could be interesting. House robots are Matilda. There is a true spinner. Partnered with Sergeant Bash. No spin, all fire.
3, 2, 1.
And the semi-final is underway. Botwork again starting rear on, attempting to spin around, but the 2 spinners in this case just kind of cancel each other out on the first impact.
Yeah, there's plenty of targets though, like those exposed tyres of Hammerhead. Botwork finding its way around, and that is a lethal cut potentially. And doing some extra insult as well there, basically fanning the tyre. it does seem to me like Hammerhead has been silenced already.
Yeah, it really does. The left tyre was definitely warped out of place, and the timer confirms the suspicions. Well, Botwork has hardly been devastating, but it's won again.
It has. The bot works! The spinner of Matilda certainly works! Hammerhead's Robot Wars campaign is over. It's time to start afresh with a new one here, going for that rear lifter weapon that we never got to see any of.
Goodness me, buckled and lifted up. That was the only lifting we have seen indeed. The pit goes down. Matilda could make Hammerhead frown. Are we going to see the floor flipper again for Sergeant Bash? I thought he was trying to use his own spinner there, the inactive one that's just for show. That's not for show, that's a long flip. And Matilda could line up another one of her own here.
Oh, she could always just drive forwards, but there we go, teetering on the edge, back into the ocean for you. That's what we do with a shark that's already offered everything it has to do. Botwork moving on to the heat final.
Now to see who will join Botwork in the final. There's Pika 2 with the team. And Xbot spinning on one wheel at the moment. I hope that's not a bad sign. Dead metal for the house bots. Looking to cause more sparks as per earlier. And Sir Kill-A-Lot again.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
And away we go. The rolling Pika 2 looking to have another very accomplished driving display.
Yes, and they'll be doing it on new treads. They've actually borrowed the wheels of Mesuggah, who's now been fully eliminated. Pika 2 took a little too much damage on their own tyres, and they just happened to find a nearby pit neighbour with almost the same dimensions.
Very helpful, very handy. Thankfully, the worries I had of Xbot when it came out weren't true. It is moving fully at the moment, but over the flame pit there, again manoeuvred there by Pika 2. As we see precise driving skills, and then to Kill-A-Lot trying to get involved a little bit too much there outside of his corner patrol zone.
The pit will be depressed to see if we can just carry Pika across on a tray. I would love to see if the lifting scoop has any lifting capabilities, but it's designed quite unlike any I've ever seen before. Well, now you're underneath. This is your chance to do something with it. They're keeping it trapped fairly well, though. That was a great little drive towards the pit. That could have ended it right there. Xbot has already been the surprise run of this heat. It could have been even more surprising.
That would have definitely been a turn up for the books there from nowhere. It would have been an accomplished drive, and they're still both hanging around this pit area. And the shot could still happen if there is a little mishap, but Pika 2 then backs away into the centre of the arena and starts getting up underneath and peeling away.
That looks like the result of a keyboard smash. Someone's gotten angry on the internet with this one. Xbot scoop just torn into two separate pieces by the top-mounted spinner of Pika 2. Well, it's going to go all the way to the end. They could not pit each other in the end or do enough damage for a knockout, but this has been a surprisingly close one as it goes to the jury.
Well, a very interesting battle. Both machines were valiant, both machines determined, and Pika 2 was the one nibbling and pushing away. But then Xbot did come in with this swerve, and when the action was near the pit, it was very tasty. That could be decisive, though, from Pika 2's spinner. The big moment of damage, and it could be the moment.
Xbot en Pika, maar we wachten nog op de jurybeslissing. Krijgen we een jurybeslissing, jongens? En de winnaar is Pika!
Well, Pika 2, the youngest driver in the competition, has carried Belgium through to the heat final. Can they take down Botwork?
And your heat final machines. There is Pika 2, who keeps going along. Impressive display to get back in. And Botwork, who has been consistent throughout without being explosive. Housebots. Sergeant Bash with the flame, with the claw, as usual. And Matilda, who's already caused issues for Pika in this heat so far. Will it repeat here?
3, 2, 1. Activate.
One of the biggest starting distances I've seen in a while for each machine to start away from each other there. It was a long distance to meet up, and Pika 2 has definitely closed that gap in the opening seconds and immediately on the push.
Yes, broadsiding Botwork there. It is one of the largest robots in the competition, so you do offer up those opportunities as long as you can evade that big spinning disc. Well, you need to keep it away from the arena wall as well, Botwork.
Yeah, and one of the arena panels there actually went downwards after the hit from Botwork's spinner and Pika. We're hoping it doesn't go down there, but that was a really meaty side hit to that tyre. Has it held up?
Yeah, I think the Mesuggah team will be wincing on in pain. They've lent their tyres, they've lent their motors, but Pika 2 is clocking on for now. Plenty more mobile than Botwork. This could be the first time they actually tried to put their spinner forwards with a rear-on approach, but it did seem to benefit Botwork more. That's a direct collision to the tyre.
Again, those tyres you can see just being warped slightly with each hit. And there is still some signs of mobility problems out there from Pika. Are those tyres being warped away at? Well, certainly visible damage that time. And Pika is limping and just spinning sluggishly around at the moment.
Yes, even that windmill-type blade does seem to have drawn to a close. They're hanging on well here. They've made it to a heat final for Belgium and the young driver of Tim van Hek, but now Pika is on the flames. Pika looking more like Ash out there.
Ah, to say the least, yes. Is that the end of Pika out there? A flamethrower to end Pikachu and Pika 2 maybe. Refbot doesn't want it to give up the ghost just yet, but will it have to? No, it is still trundling slightly. Oh, the tyre's going to peel off for good. But will it make it the distance of this fight? This is a valiant effort from Pika 2 nevertheless.
I'm not sure the plush toy on board has made it to the end, but you know what? The robot did, and a good effort from Team VHS for that.
Well, on paper, this looks to be conclusive. Botwork did all the work in terms of damage and most of the aggression too. Pika 2 did stay in there, but again, even the flame pit got involved. It was a toasty, roasty affair, and it would be incredibly surprising if it gets the win here from the judges. Botwork does take the win, unsurprisingly. Well, we have our third heat winner, and next time we will be looking for number 4 with more axe spots, more damage from spinners, and an Elmo in there for good measure. There'll be arena blues, to say the least, and house robot action as always. Don't be retired, guys. Join us next time.